In our game today, we are going to develop a cast of characters to join your main character in your story. I'm going to assume you're playing this game standing up, taking on your characters physically. But if you're in a place where you can't move around for whatever reason, you can always close your eyes or lay down and close your eyes so you can truly visualize and imagine these characters. And if you're doing it that way, I want you to try to make it as physical as possible. You can shift your body position, really think about the sensations of being these different characters, because that will help you get to know them even better. So find your way to your open space or find your way to your quiet space, and then shake out a hand, shake out another hand, shake out your shoulders, shake out your feet. And I'd like for you to first think about your main character. If you've been playing along through this series, you've already developed this person. So I want you to think about how they might stand on a regular day, maybe around 2 o'clock in the afternoon. What might they be doing? And go ahead and strike a pose for this character. Ready? 3, 2, 1. Freeze. Okay, whatever you're doing, I want you to make it even bigger. So think about the activity they're doing, think about their emotion, give them a specific day, something specific that's going on today, and really make this bigger. Ready? 3, 2, 1, freeze. Nice. Now, I want you to think about someone else that would be in their circumstances at 2 o'clock. They're in the middle of doing this activity. Who would be nearby? Would there be a friend, a teacher, a coach, a family member, maybe just an acquaintance? And I want you to think about who that person is and what they might be doing in this moment. And we're going to take their body on. Here we go. 3, 2, 1, freeze. Now, whatever you're doing, I want you to really think about this character's emotions. How are they different from your main characters? And make your tiny change. 3, 2, 1, freeze. Great. Now I want you to think about the role this character plays in your main character's life. Are they someone who helps your character? Are they someone who gets in your character's way? Are they an authority figure? Are they someone your character really admires? Or maybe someone your character resists? Now, I want you to think about someone who plays the opposite kind of role in your character's life. Go ahead and think of that opposite kind of character, and we're going to strike a pose for this character. 3, 2, 1, freeze. Now, just for a moment, I'd like you to think about the moment your character first met the person that you're standing like right now. How did this character feel when they first met your character? In fact, what were they actually physically doing with their body? Let's make that change to our bodies right now. 3, 2, 1, freeze. And now I really want you to think about, how does this character feel about my character? They might have really opposite feelings about each other, or they might have very similar feelings about each other, but you get to decide. Great, now let's move on to a new character. I'd like for you to choose someone in your character's life who they meet along the journey. So your character might not actually physically leave their school or home environment. They might stay right in their neighborhood for the whole story. But I want you to think about someone new who could maybe show up in the story. You ready? 3, 2, 1, freeze. Now, I'd like for you to think about the role this character plays in the story. Are they helpful to your character? Are they a problem for your character? Are they just a little irritating? Think about who they are, what role they play. Now I want you to think of the most serious character in your main character's life. Who's the person who takes life the most seriously? And not your main character, so somebody else. So if they're really serious, you're gonna have to choose someone outside of them. But who is that person who just really is serious? All right, strike a pose of this character. 3, 2, 1, freeze. And just take a moment to think about their relationship with your character. How long have they known each other? How do they interact? Do things go well or not well between the two of them? And now let's do the opposite. Who is the most hilarious character in your main character's life? Think about who that might be and strike a pose of them in action. 3, 2, 1, freeze. Now, think about how this character and your character met. And think about how your character feels about this character, but you're standing in this character's position. So I want you to also think about how this character, this funny character, how did they think about your main character? We've come up with a few possibilities for characters in your story. I want to give you the opportunity to come up with 3 more physical possibilities. And because each writer's story is different, I'm not going to give you any more suggestions about who these people should be. I want you to think about the really important people in your story that we maybe haven't even touched upon yet. All right? And so first I want you to come up with one of those characters. Who do you want to take on physically? All right? Here's our first character. 3, 2, 1, freeze. Now, I want you to think about a time where this character and your main character had a really important interaction. Ideally, something that happened before your story even started. But if it needs to be during the story, it can be that too. Okay? What would this character have been doing with their body in that interaction? What would be an interesting thing they might have physically been doing? And you're going to strike that pose. 3, 2, 1, freeze. Now we're going to do a second character. Another person who's important in the story, maybe for a different reason. Maybe they're an adult, maybe they're a child, maybe they're a creature. You can even be a pet. All right? 3, 2, 1, freeze. Now I want you to think about an important interaction between this character and your main character. And think about what this character was doing and strike that pose. 3, 2, 1. Now we're going to do one more. So maybe there's a character who is essential to your story, in which case that's the one you should choose. But if you've really gone through all the important characters, choose somebody who might surprise you a little bit. All right? Who could this person be? And we're going to strike a pose of this character. 3, 2, 1, freeze. Like the others, I want you to think of an important interaction between this character and your main character. How would this character have been physically acting? And give them an actual frozen pose. Remember your facial expression, their emotion. Here we go. 3, 2, 1, freeze. I'd love for you to share about one character who was maybe a surprise to you, or a character who you think might spark some ideas for other people who are watching this video. You can add your ideas in the comment section below. Also, you'll find a link for an interactive writing tool, which will help you capture your ideas about this cast of characters and some qualities of each one of those characters that you can continue to develop. And I want to point you back to the game where we explored a main character. If you feel like any of these characters are important enough that you want to build a whole character profile on them, you can always go back to that game and play it with the perspective of this character who's maybe not your main character, but a very essential one. So you can really go deep into who that character is. The link below also has a downloadable PDF in case you prefer to work with paper and pencil. And it also has information about Society of Young Inklings and our free Inklings book writing contest, as well as tools for youth who are interested in writing something major, such as a novel. I hope you were inspired to come up with some new character possibilities today. And we'd love it if you'd share this video and tool with writers or writing mentors or teachers in your life so that we can help spark creativity in even more writers' lives. Thanks so much for joining us today. We hope you'll join us for our next video in which we'll talk about how to develop a plot. In the meantime, here's to you and your creativity.